Health and on Trump's health too. She is 68, he is 70. Donald Trump saying he hopes she gets well, that he'll see her at the debate. But instead, he is blasting her for calling half of his supporters, quote, a basket of deplorables, demanding an apology from Clinton. And all this comes amid new polls in key battleground states. In the toss-up state of Nevada, Clinton is ahead by just 1 point, 45 to 44. The same in New Hampshire, where Clinton is at 42, Trump 41. And in the normally red state of Arizona, Clinton nearing Trump now, he leads by just 1. And in the red state of Georgia, Clinton has now narrowed Trump's lead to 3 points. With the race so close and 57 days left, every moment matters. And now word of punches thrown at a Trump event late today. ABC's Tom Yamas is in North Carolina.
Hello, everybody.
Tonight, Donald Trump with the campaign trail all to himself, sending a get well soon message to Hillary Clinton.
It was quite sad, to be honest with you, and I hope she gets well soon. No satisfaction, believe me, whatsoever.
His team, which has been jabbing at Clinton's health for weeks, today instructing surrogates to keep quiet, though Trump couldn't resist saying this.
They say pneumonia on Friday, but she was coughing very, very badly a week ago, and even before that, if you remember. This wasn't the first time. So it's very interesting to see what is going on.
Trump focusing now on Clinton's words, turning them against her in this new ad.
You could put half of Trump's supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables. The racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, Islamophobic, you name it.
People like you, and you. Deplorable.
Clinton later said she was, quote, grossly generalistic, adding, I regret saying half. That was wrong.
She divides people into baskets as though they were objects, not human beings, carpenters and welders, the young and the old, and millions of working class families who just want a better future and a good job. These were the people Hillary Clinton so viciously demonized.
Trump, who has refused to apologize for his own controversial statements about women, Muslims, and minorities, is now demanding a true apology from Clinton.
If Hillary Clinton will not retract her comments in full, I don't see how she can credibly campaign any further.
The Republican nominee also adding to the drama surrounding the debates, now just 2 weeks away.
I'm going to be treated very, very unfairly by the moderators. I think maybe we should have no moderator. Let Hillary and I sit there and just debate, because I think the system is being rigged, so it's going to be a very unfair debate.
And Tom Yamas with us live tonight from a Trump rally in Asheville, North Carolina. And Tom, I wanted to get to those pictures you've sent in. You were reporting a short time ago about the
quote, grossly generalistic, adding, I regret saying half. That was wrong.
She divides people into baskets as though they were objects, not human beings.
That was wrong.
She divides people into baskets as though they were objects, not human beings, carpenters and welders, the young and the old, and millions of working class families who just want a better future and a good job. These were the people Hillary Clinton so viciously demonized.
Trump, who has refused to apologize for his own controversial statements about women, Muslims, and minorities, is now demanding a true apology from Clinton.
If Hillary Clinton will not retract her comments in full, I don't see how she can credibly campaign any further.
The Republican nominee also adding to the drama surrounding the debates, now just 2 weeks away.
I'm going to be treated very, very unfairly by the moderators. I think maybe we should have no moderator. Let Hillary and I sit there and just debate, because I think the system is being rigged, so it's going to be a very unfair debate.
And
that was wrong.
She divides people into baskets as though they were objects, not human beings.
That was wrong.
She divides people into baskets as though they were objects.
Wrong.
She divides people into baskets as though they were objects, not human beings, carpenters and welders, the young and the old, and millions of working class families who just want a better future and a good job. These were the people Hillary Clinton so viciously demonized. These were the people Hillary Clinton so viciously demonized. Future and a good job. These were the people Hillary Clinton so viciously demonized. These were the people Hillary Clinton so viciously demonized.
Trump, who has refused to apologize for his own controversial statements about women, Muslims, and minorities, is now demanding a true apology from Clinton.
If Hillary Clinton will not retract her comments in full, I don't see how she can credibly campaign any further.
The Republican nominee also adding to the drama surrounding the debates, now just 2 weeks away.
I'm going to be treated very, very unfairly by the moderators. I think maybe we should have no moderator. Let Hillary and I sit there and just debate, because I think the system is being rigged, so it's going to be a very unfair debate.
Muslims and minorities is now demanding a true apology from Clinton.
If Hillary Clinton will not retract her comments in full, I don't see how she can credibly campaign any further.
The Republican nominee also adding to the drama surrounding the debates, now just 2 weeks away.
I'm going to be treated very, very unfairly by the moderators. I think maybe we should have no moderator.
What's going on, brothers? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? The math professor is in the house. If you guys can hear me loud and clear. If you guys can hear me loud and clear, y'all just put one in the chat. Put one in the chat. If you were able to hear this video, if you were able to hear this excerpt, fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use. If you were able to hear this excerpt from the 2016 presidential race, just put 2 in the chat. If you were able to hear, the video that I played from the 2016 presidential election race, just put 2 in the chat. Put 2 in the chat if y'all heard the video. If you heard the video, put 2 in the chat. Put 2 in the chat if you heard the video. If you heard the video, put 2 in the chat. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're going to talk today, my brothers. We are going to talk. Did y'all hear that? Thank you, my brothers. Thank you, my brothers. Thank you, Tim Harding. Thank you, Vince Linde. Thank you, Art. Thank you, Brandon Penn. Good to see you, my brother. Good to see you, DJ B-Side. Good to see you, Christopher Clipper. Good to see you, Dre Millans. Good to see you, Hero in the Apocalypse. Good to see you, Blackout 300. Good to see you. The man professor is back in the house, guys. You know, I couldn't help but do this, man. I could not help but talk about this today. We got to talk about Miss Thang. This is Thursday afternoon live. This is Thursday afternoon. Man, let me show my doggone face. Hold on, where are we at? Let me get this thing going right here. This is Thursday afternoon live, and I am the man professor. Brothers. We got to talk about this woman here. Yeah, we're going to talk about this woman, Eboni K. Williams. Eboni K. Williams. Brothers, my brothers. The reason why, and I thank you all, y'all share, y'all like, and y'all subscribe. The reason why, my brothers, I went back. I had to go back to the 2016 election, which was we're not talking about ancient history. We are not talking about ancient history because the 2016 election was one of the most important elections in the history of the United States, and it remains. The 2016 election, which ultimately resulted in the presidency of Donald Trump, the 45th president of the United States. The 2016 election is still with us. The effects of the 2016 election are not going away. We are about to enter into a new season. We are about to enter, my brothers, into a new season. Thank you, my guys. Thank you, my guys, for checking in. I appreciate you guys. We are about to check in a new season in terms of presidential politics. And we have to talk about the entire panorama, the entire scope of people's ideas, of people's thoughts, of particular people's perspectives when it comes down to men, when it comes down to class, when it comes down to race in the United States of America. We must talk about their thoughts. And yes, we're talking about Miss Thang. We are talking about Miss Thang. And who is Miss Thang? Miss Thang is Eboni K. Williams. Miss Thang. And the reason why, my brothers, the reason why I played excerpts of that ABC broadcast from 2016, because it is apropos for talking about this person, Eboni K. Williams. Let's just get right into it. We are talking about a woman. She just made these comments. This is a woman who made comments about truck drivers. This is a woman who made comments about working class men. She's talking about black men in particular, but in general, she's talking about working class men. This is a person who has deep contempt and resentment towards the American working class. And she represents a major problem. She represents a major problem in the United States. This is bigger than dating. Listen, guys, this is bigger than dating. This is bigger than marriage. This is bigger than romance. This is bigger than who you sleep with. This is bigger than game, philosophy. This is bigger than some of the male-female stuff that we have been talking about in this thing called the Black Manosphere. This is about the state of the union. This is about where we are in the United States. This is about politics. This is about Republicans. This is about Democrats. This is about the future of our country. It's bigger. It's bigger than what some people think. And let it be clear, my guys. Let it be clear. Let it be clear. Let it be clear. Thank you, BGS. BGS is in the house. BGS is in the house. We appreciate your support, my brother. Y'all hit the likes. Y'all hit the likes. Y'all hit the likes. The Man Professor. I am out here on a Thursday afternoon. This is East Coast time. This is East Coast time. I'm broadcasting East Coast time. It is 1:23 p.m. East Coast time, May the 4th, 2023. Tomorrow, May the 5th, 2023, will be the 1-year anniversary of the death of our brother, Kevin Samuels. Tomorrow is 1 year, the 1 year mark of the death of our brother, Kevin Samuels. And brothers, I'm going to tell you something. We are talking about a snob. We are talking about a snob. We are talking about somebody who is elitist. We are talking about someone who has deep contempt towards working men. Working men. All of you bus drivers, all of you, not just bus drivers, all of you truck drivers, the truck drivers, thank you, BGS. Thank you, BGS, for that. The truck drivers, all of you guys who are important for the infrastructure of the United States, those of you who drive for the post office, you drive for the United States Postal Service. You are an employee of the United States Postal Service. I see these black men all the time. They bring mail. These men, they bring mail to my apartment where I live. They bring my mail. These are people. I don't get mail without these men, okay? They work for the United States Postal Service. And if they don't work for the United States Postal Service, they work in private industry. They work for UPS. They work for Amazon. They drive trucks for Amazon. They drive trucks for UPS. They drive trucks for Federal Express. I think Federal Express is still alive, but they drive trucks. They drive trucks. You're talking about the truckers of the United States of America, the men who drive for a living. I have a neighbor. I have a neighbor, my neighbor. Thank you, BGS, for that. Y'all share, y'all like, subscribe, and subscribe. This is the Mad Professor broadcast. This is Thursday afternoon live. Wrench Turner, what's going on, my brother? Wrench Turner, good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. We are talking about the hatred of working class black men. And the working class black men, not just working class black men, but working class men in general. The hatred, the hatred, the hatred, the hatred of working class men in the United States of America. These men don't have professional degrees. These men do not have law degrees. These men do not have PhDs. These men do not have master's degrees. Many of these men do not have bachelor's degrees. Some of them have bachelor's degrees. Some of them have bachelor's degrees. Most of them don't. But most of them, they have CDLs. They are certified. They have commercial driver's license. These are men who put in work every single day. And if these men were to ever go on strike, if these men were to ever go on strike in the United States, it will have a major impact on the U.S. economy. And if we're not talking about working class men who are driving trucks, we are talking about the plumbers. We are talking about the men who work in waste management. We are talking about your sanitation workers. We are talking about the men who are on the street. We're talking about the men who do the dirty work, who do the hard work that most people in the professional classes refuse to do, don't want to do, and cannot live comfortable and plush lives, privileged lives apart and without these men. That is who we are talking about today. And I don't have to tell you that the reason why Donald Trump became the 45th president of the United States of America in 2016, the principal reason why he became the president in 2016 is because he tapped into a neglected, a derided, a disparaged, a despised population of working class people, particularly working class men. Not just white men, not just white men. White men were a part of it, but it's not just white men. We're talking about working class black men. We're talking about working class Latino men. We're talking about working class men all across the board. This is why Donald Trump became the president in 2016. And this is why Donald Trump, and I'm going to say this to you guys, I didn't vote for Donald Trump in 2016. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I am going to be completely, thank you, DJ B-Side 1965. Yes, class is in session. Thank you, my brother. We appreciate your support, my brother. Cash App $BMI 3000. Cash App $BMI 3000. I am the Mad Professor, and I am live, and this is raw. We are in effect. You know how I do it over here. My brothers. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I was not going to vote. I was not going to vote in the 2016 election. I was not going to vote. I'm going to tell you this, guys. I'm going to tell you this, brothers. I did not vote. I did not vote in the 2012 election. When Barack Obama went head-to-head with Mitt Romney, in the 2012 election, I did not vote. I did not vote in the national presidential election. I stayed home. I refused to vote. I voted for Barack Obama in 2008. I voted for Barack Obama in 2008. But after one term in the White House, I was completely disenchanted and dissatisfied with Barack Obama. I was disenchanted and dissatisfied with Barack Obama. I looked at Mitt Romney. There was nothing about Mitt Romney that I saw as being compelling. There was nothing about Mitt Romney and his campaign and what he did in 2012 that would drive me to the polls to vote for Mitt Romney. So I did not want to vote for Barack Obama. I did not want to vote for Mitt Romney. So I chose to not vote at all in 2012. And when 2016 came around, I had the same attitude. When 2016 came around, I had the same attitude. Because I was not happy with Hillary Clinton as a Democratic nominee, and I wasn't really drawn by Donald Trump. I wasn't drawn. This is just true. Donald Trump, I just didn't. I had so many questions about Donald Trump. I was like, I was not compelled to vote for Donald Trump. And I'm going to tell you what happened. I'm going to tell you what happened. I'm going to tell you what happened because I ultimately went to the polls and I voted. I'm going to tell you at the last minute, I went to the polls in 2016. I went at the very, very last minute. I went at the midnight hour and I voted. And I'm going to tell you the reason why I voted, because I was surrounded by a bunch of fear mongers. I was around a bunch of fear mongers in 2016 who kept saying that if Donald Trump becomes president, that all hell is going to break loose, the world is going to come to an end, and all this kind of stuff, and that we need to maintain some stability in American society in terms of the presidency. Donald Trump had no political experience. Here's the big thing. Donald Trump had no political experience. He had held no public office. He had no public record of being an elected official. Donald Trump had no record whatsoever at being an elected official. And I'm not going to lie to you, brothers, that concerned me. That did concern me, that he had not ran for a congressional seat. Donald Trump had not ran for a Senate seat. Donald Trump had never ran for a governorship, particularly in the state of New York. He had not ran for the governor of New York. He had never held an elected position. So I was really concerned about that. And I'm going to be honest with you, I voted for Hillary Clinton. I voted for Hillary Clinton. Reluctantly, I voted for Hillary Clinton. And I'm going to be honest with you, my guys, I regretted my decision afterwards. I regretted my decision. I really wish that I would have either, number one, stayed home. I wish that I would have stayed home in 2016, stayed home and not voted at all, or that I had voted third party. Poindexter's heels turn. I am with you 100%. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here this afternoon. I am with you 100% because I was offended too. Poindexter says, I got a master's degree and I felt offended by her statement. She ain't good enough for a man on her financial level. Yes, I was offended too. We're going to talk about that, my brother. We're going to talk about that. I was offended too. I wish I would have stayed home. I wish I would have stayed home in 2016. But all the fear mongering, and that's what the Democrats in particular, are good at fear mongering. As a matter of fact, that's all they do is fear monger. Right now, as we're going into the 2024 election cycle, all you're going to get is fear. Fear. They're going to target black people. The Democrats are going to target black people as they always do, and they're going to just pump All they're going to do is just pump an entire cesspool of fear into the atmosphere. Fear, 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 fear. Don't vote for the Republican nominee. The Republican nominee might be Donald Trump. The Republican nominee might be Ron DeSantis. They're going to say, don't vote for these people, because if you vote for these people, we're going to go into a place called fascism. And I'm going to tell you guys, I'm going to tell you, my guys, I'm going to tell you guys, thank you, Dr. J. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. I'm going to tell you. When Hillary Clinton got up in public and made a speech, she made a speech, and she talked about Trump supporters. She talked about the people who were responding to Donald Trump. Okay, when she talked about that, when she called these people deplorables. She called these people deplorables. She took half of the United States of America. Half. She called them racist. She called them sexist. She called them homophobic. She called them bigoted. She called them discriminatory and all this things. She just totally lambasted all of them. And when she did that, she had to come back and she had to backtrack everything that she said. When she did that, she basically told the world, she told us the extent to which she is ignorant, the extent to which she doesn't understand, the extent to which she was misinformed about what is going on in the United States, the extent to which she was completely oblivious to the socio-economic situation of millions of people in America. And she had to come back. She had to backtrack everything that she said, because she had to really think about it. She had to really sit back and understand who it was that Donald Trump was appealing to. Who did Donald Trump appeal to? Donald Trump was appealing to the working class sector of the United States of America, those who have been ignored by multinational corporations, people who were struggling to pay their bills, people who were working 2, 3, and 4 jobs, people who have been hit hard by this new economy that we are living in. She was completely ignorant and oblivious to that reality. Somebody had to pull her to the side and say, Hillary Clinton, you have done something wrong, because you have insulted more than half of the people in the United States. Not just white people now, not just white people, but any person who occupies a working class status in the United States. Thank you for that support, Dr. J. Thank you for that support, my brother. Thank you for that support. Deplorables. That was the word. And that word stuck. That word deplorable, it stuck. It stuck. And it's still with her right now. She cannot shake that down in any kind of way. She said that if you are a truck driver, if you are a plumber, if you are a carpenter, if you work in sewage management or waste management, if you are someone who is integral to the infrastructure of the United States, the economy of the United States that is never represented in mainstream media, if you are a part of this working class economy, you simply do not matter. in the mind and in the words of Hillary Rodham Clinton. And that brings us to Eboni K. Williams. That brings us to Eboni K. Williams. Because what Eboni K. Williams is no different. What she said about working class black men, what she said about working class black men, what she said about working class men in general comes out of the same perspective that Hillary Clinton articulated way back in the 2016 presidential race. The Democratic Party has been criticized. It has been criticized by the Republican Party. Not only has the Democratic Party been criticized by the Republican Party, but it has also been criticized by elements within the Democratic Party. We're talking about the left. We're talking about the economic left. The economic left has criticized people like Hillary Clinton. The economic left has criticized politicians like her who do not care about working people. I'm going to show y'all a book I'm reading right now. I'm going to show y'all a book. Y'all see this book I'm reading? Do y'all see who this is? This is Bernie Sanders. This is Senator Bernie Sanders. I am reading this book right now. Senator Bernie Sanders. Senator Bernie Sanders from Vermont. He ran 2 times. He ran 2 times for the presidency. He ran in 2016, and Bernie Sanders also ran in 2020. You see this book? It's okay to be angry about capitalism. That is Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is a democratic socialist. Let me say it again. Bernie Sanders is a democratic socialist. A democratic socialist. Bernie Sanders articulates a perspective about capitalism that begins with the working class. The working class. Donald Trump was concerned about the working class. Donald Trump was concerned about the working class. But he dealt with the working class from the standpoint of a boss, from the standpoint of a businessman, from the standpoint of an employer. That we needed to bring back manufacturing. We need to restructure the American economy. We need to make the American economy strong as it was 30, 40, 50 years ago. We need to correct the problem of outsourcing. That's why Donald Trump talked about America first, America first, America first, America first. We need to build up our economy. We need to put people back to work. That was Donald Trump's platform when he talked about make America great again. Again, it wasn't just about racism. People reduced Donald Trump to racism and white supremacy, and it's easy to do that and all that kind of stuff. But he was dealing from the standpoint of capitalism and getting people back to work. Bernie Sanders comes from the different perspective. Bernie Sanders is not a capitalist. He is not a capitalist. He is not a radical capitalist. He is not a Donald Trump figure. But what Bernie Sanders has in common with Donald Trump, here's the thing. What Bernie Sanders has in common with Donald Trump is that he believes that we need to focus on American workers. We need to focus on the working class. We need to get the working class back to work. We need to deal with work or wages. We need to deal with protections for those who are working, those who are not a part of the 1%. That's Bernie Sanders from the standpoint of democratic socialism. And the Democratic Party did not want to do business with Bernie Sanders. The Democratic Party did not want him to be the presidential nominee in 2016. The Democratic Party did not want Bernie Sanders to be the presidential nominee in 2020 because Bernie Sanders was pro-worker. He was pro-working class. He was pro-working class. We need to focus in on people who make wages, people who work 9 to 5, people who punch in the clock. We need to focus on people who are integral to the infrastructure of the United States of America. And those elites within the Democratic Party, they rejected Bernie Sanders. They did not want the democratic socialism of Bernie Sanders. They did not want Bernie Sanders socialism in 2016. They did not want his democratic socialism in 2020. So basically, what they were doing, they pointed a middle finger, the Democratic Party, the elites, they pointed a middle finger at the American working class, which includes Black America, because the bulk of Black America is in the working class. The working class. That's the bulk of Black America, which includes Black American men and Black American women. They are workers. These are people who have 9 to 5 jobs. That is the bulk of Black America. I am a professional Black man. I am a professional Black man. I work in the professions. I don't work in the working class. I've worked in the working class. I have worked. I come from the working class. And I've worked in the working class. I know what it's like to punch a clock. I punched the clock when I was 18 years old. I punched the clock when I was 19, when I was 20. I punched the clock all throughout most of my 20s. I punched a clock. I worked in warehouses. I worked in factories. I worked for Target. The midnight shift. I had a job when I was in graduate school working on my PhD. I worked at Target from 12 a.m. to 8 a.m. in the morning. I worked there. When I was in undergrad, when I was working on my bachelor's degrees, I worked at working class job where I worked from 12 a.m. to 8 a.m. I worked for a company called Roadway Package Systems when I was in college. It was a company called Roadway Package Systems. I worked for that company when I was in college from 12 a.m. to 8 a.m. I would get off my job at 8 a.m. after my long shift. I would go home, I would sleep for 2 hours, and then I would go to school and I would go to class. That's what I did when I was in college. I know what it means to work for wages. I've worked as a security guard when I lived in Atlanta. I spent 3 years in Atlanta, Georgia, and I worked as a security guard for Barton Protective Services. I was a security guard worker at Peachtree Center Mall. I worked from 11 to 7. I worked from 3 to 11. I worked 7 to 7. I worked. And at that time, we worked for $7 an hour. I worked for $7 an hour. So I know the working class experience. I know the working class experience intimately. And I know what it's like. I know what it's like to be looked down upon. I know what it's like to be devalued. I know what it's like to be the object of snobbery. I know what it's like. Snobbery from the professional classes. Snobbery from the people who have the college degrees, the professional degrees, who work in corporate America. I know what it's like to deal with their snobbery and their elitism and their believing that they are better, that they are fundamentally better than everybody else. I know what it's like. And I know what it's like to deal with a woman like Eboni K. Williams. Y'all share, y'all like, and subscribe to Mad Professor is in the house. Y'all share, y'all like. What's going on, Muhajin? The magnificent. Peace to you, my brother. Peace to you, my brother. Peace to you, Truck Turner. Peace to you, peace to you, peace to you, peace to you. Y'all hit the like button. Y'all share, y'all like, and subscribe. I know what it's like. I've been a working class black man. I have been a working class black man. I was working class. I worked working class jobs all through college, all through graduate school. I worked working class jobs as I worked on my PhD. Let me say this to you guys again. I worked working class jobs when I worked on my PhD. I work with regular people, ordinary people, people who are not elite, non-elite people, non-elite white people, non-elite black people, non-elite Latinos, non-elite men, non-elite women. I know what it's like to work among non-elite people. So yes, I was highly offended by Miss Thang. That's what we're gonna call her, Miss Thang. Miss Thang. Shout out to Obsidian Mumia Ali. Shout out to Obsidian Mumia. When old man, y'all see this book? Y'all see this person right here? Her name is Sophia A. Nelson. Y'all see this? Y'all see this? Sophia A. Nelson. I'm calling Eboni K. Williams Miss Thang because this is what Obsidian Ali called this woman here. Obsidian Mumia Ali. Obsidian old man, he came on YouTube. Old man came on YouTube in 2015. He came on as a working class black man. He came in as a skilled tradesman, 20 years as a skilled tradesman who eventually retired from what he did. Obsidian. And when Obsidian came online, he dealt with this problem. He dealt with the elitism of people, the elitism of particular Black American females. This is a lawyer. This woman right here, she's a lawyer. She's a lawyer. She's in her late 50s right now. Darn near pushing 60 years old. Never been married. No kids, never been married. A Washington, D.C. socialite. She's a Washington, D.C. socialite. That book came out. She wrote that book. She wrote that book in 2011, talking about, it was called Black Women Redefined, and it came out in the Obama era, and all the professional black women, they were worshiping and celebrating Michelle Obama. They were worshiping and celebrating a Michelle Obama who is a corporate lawyer. Michelle Obama is a corporate lawyer. And these people had the habit. These people had the habit of going on TV. They had the habit of going on TV and talking about how deficient, how inept, how underdeveloped, how undereducated, how unsophisticated, how non-cosmopolitan, how unwealthy. They regarded the vast majority of black men in the United States. And it goes way back. Everything that Eboni K. Williams has said about black men has been said before. She's not the first. This woman is not the first one to make these type of statements about black men. She's not the first one. She's not the first. Eboni K. Williams is not the first one to make these type of statements about black men. She's not the first lawyer. She's not the first professional black woman to use a platform, the Griot, which is owned by some white super corporation. It ain't owned by black people. The Griot was not owned by black people. Black people don't own the Griot. Don't get it twisted. The Griot is a white-owned subsidiary of a multinational media corporation. Y'all look it up. Y'all do the research for yourself. These women have been saying that the working class black man is a deplorable. Working class men in general are deplorables. That's what they say. Miss Thang. This is what Miss Thang says. This is what Miss Thang says, that you are among the deplorables. Hillary Clinton is the one. Hillary Clinton. You see, this thing is deep. This thing is wide. Hillary Clinton had to go back because here's what you do, guys. Here's what you do. This is what you do. You can go back to the presidential debates. The presidential debates between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump are on YouTube. The presidential. You got two debates. You can put either one. I suggest you look at the second presidential debate. You look at the second one, but look at both of them. And everything was exposed. Everything was exposed. Everything was exposed. And that was, in hindsight, now I'm looking at that. That's what, if Donald Trump did anything that was positive, if Donald Trump did anything that was positive with his candidacy and subsequent presidency, if Donald Trump did anything that was positive, what he did was he pulled back the veil. He pulled back the veil. He pulled the curtains back. He pulled the curtains back and showed you what America truly is. That's what Donald Trump is. He showed you what America truly is and how America truly sees and treats its citizens. From the standpoint of a particular party, and I have to say this, the Republican Party is not innocent. The Republican Party is not innocent. I'm not capable for the Republican Party. The Republican Party is not innocent because they have a professional class over there too. The Republican Party has a professional class that is intent on protecting its interests in the same vein as the Democratic Party has a professional class. The big critique, and this is Bernie Sanders. This is Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders says that both parties is angry to be a capitalist. Bernie Sanders says that both parties, the Republican Party and the Democratic Party, are controlled by corporations and corporate interests, which means that they are controlled by the professional classes. They're controlled by the professional classes, and these parties don't really care about the working class. They don't care about ordinary people. And that's part of the reason why Donald Trump gets some of the flack that he gets. Because you have corporate Republicans. You have corporate Republicans who don't like his populism. You have corporate Republicans who don't like the populism of Donald Trump. They don't like his populism. They don't like the elements whom Donald Trump has attracted. And I'm not here to defend anybody. I'm not here to do any of that kind of stuff. I'm here to lay the facts. I'm here to lay out the facts. All they are. The facts. The facts, the facts, the facts. Eboni K. Williams. Eboni K. Williams is not atypical. Eboni K. Williams is not an outlier. Eboni K. Williams is representative. She represents the professional class, the professional classes. She represents the perspective of professional women in particular. And to go deeper in there, she represents the professional perspective of professional black women with respect to men in general, black men in particular. They think, this group of women think that they are better than you. They think that they are better than you. They think that they're superior to you. You are a deplorable. A deplorable. And I'm going to take it further. I'm going to say this. Not only is her perspective directed at working class black men, but it is also directed to men like me. Men like me, men like me, men like me, men like me. Because her elitism, she didn't go there, her elitism, her snobbery doesn't stop. Here's the thing. Her snobbery, her elitism, it does not stop at working class black men. Her elitism and her snobbery extends to professional men in her cohort. It extends to them too. She thinks she's better. If you put a man in front of her who has the same amount of resources that she has, if you put a man in front of her that has the same status and prestige that she has, if you put a man in front of her that is so-called her quote unquote equal, if you put her equal in front of her, it doesn't matter what he is, black, white, green, polka dot, tangerine. If you put her equal in front of her, she will still think that she is better than him. She will still think she's better than him. And I can say this to you from experience because I've dated lawyers. I've dated lawyers. The math professor has dated lawyers. I have dated lawyers. And lawyers tend to be careerist. Lawyers tend to be individualistic. They are egoistic. They are narcissistic. Not all lawyers, but that whole profession is a profession. It is one of the most career-driven, individualistic, egoistic, narcissistic professions that exist. That's the law. Lawyers. You talk about people who are full of themselves, especially corporate lawyers in particular. If you're a corporate lawyers, full of themselves, self-absorbed, self-obsessed, full of themselves. These people are full of themselves. And she is full of herself. Thank you, Spain Man. PhD Talk. Salute, my brother. Salute. She is completely full of, they are completely full of themselves. Lawyers, I've dated them. Lawyers. Big houses, luxury cars, big houses, luxury cars, obsessed with status, obsessed with appearances, overly entitled, full of themselves. I've dated them. I've slept with them. Yes, I slept with them. I bent her over. I bent that lawyer over. I sure did. I bent that lawyer over. I bent her over. Doggone it. I put her in the book. I threw them legs back. I threw them legs back. I sure did. I threw them legs back and had her hollering. Ah, ah. I had her hollering. Full of themselves. Dr. J knows what I'm talking about. Dr. Johnson knows what I'm talking about. He knows what I'm talking about. Full of themselves. She thinks she's the queen. She thinks she's the Queen of England. She thinks she's the queen of the world. She thinks she's a god. She thinks she's a goddess. Full of herself. Everybody got to bow down to the queen. Everybody got to bow down to the queen. She got a god complex. But she thinks she's better than you. She thinks she's better than you. Here's the thing, guys. The reason why she thinks she's better than you is because she lives in the fantasy world. She lives in a fantasy world. She lives in a bubble. She lives in a bubble of careerism, individualism, ambition. She's really conservative. When it comes down to it, she's really a political conservative. Some of these people are on the Democratic side. They might call themselves liberals, but they're really conservative. They have a bootstrap mentality. These people have a bootstrap mentality. This woman actually believes that she is where she is in life. Here's the thing. Here's the delusion. This is a black woman who is 40 years old. This is a black woman who is 40 years old. And she's a lawyer. And she's done well in life. This woman has no understanding. She has no understanding of what she has inherited. This woman doesn't understand the fact that 70 years ago, 60 years ago, 50 years ago, this woman doesn't understand that 70 years ago, 50 years ago, 60 years ago, she could not have existed. She could not have existed. There was no way for a black woman to talk the way in which she talks in 1970. I'm going to say it again, brothers. In 1970, there is no way for a black American woman with a law degree to talk the way in which Eboni Williams talks right now. There was absolutely no way for that to happen in 1970. And it doggone wasn't possible in 1960. It wasn't possible in 1950. This woman has benefited from feminism. Let me say this again. This is a woman who has benefited from feminism. She has benefited from womanism. She has benefited from affirmative action. She has benefited from all of the privileges, all of the uplift that women have been accorded, particularly professional, educated women over the last 50 years. The last 50 years. She has benefited from it. She has benefited from the push, the gender push from the government, the gender push in academia, the gender push in politics, the gender push in corporate America. She has benefited from the gender push. She has benefited from the fact that corporations, institutions of higher education, and the government have gone overboard. They have gone overboard in ensuring the elevation of women who have a middle class track. This woman wants you to believe, she wants us to believe that she is self-made. Dr. Johnson, thank you, Hero of the Apocalypse. Thank you, Hero of the Apocalypse, for that contribution. Cash App, $BMI 3000. Cash App, $BMI 3000. Cash App, $BMI 3000. Thank you, Hero, for that contribution, my brother. We appreciate you. Cash App, $BMI 3000. Y'all can hit the super chat if you want, super sticker, do whatever you want to do. This woman believes that she is self-made. Here's the thing. This woman believes that she is self-made, that she pulled herself up by the bootstraps. She believes that she is the fundamental maker and engineer of her quote-unquote success. She believes that. Which means that she has a rugged, individualistic view of the world, of America. She sees herself as an American exceptional. She sees herself as someone who is the product and who is the beneficiary of an American meritocracy. That's how she sees herself. She really believes that there is a meritocracy in America and that she has been able to live up to this meritocracy. She is where she is because of this meritocracy. And she disparages men. She disparages men who in her eyes are not exceptional, men in her eyes who are deficient, men who in her eyes do not have ambition, men who in her eyes have not taken on the American meritocratic system. This woman really believes that the fact that there is a small number of men at the top of society, this woman really believes, we call them the masters of the universe. She really believes that because there exists men who are 10% of income earners in America, she really believes that men who are in the 20%, she really believes that men who are in the 5% of those income earners, that those men are there exclusively and primarily because of an American meritocracy, and that the men who are beneath them, men who are outside of the 20%, those men who are outside of the 20% are men who have a status, whose status can be understood based on their lack of effort, their lack of ambition, their lack of motivation, their lack of drive. She thinks that a man who is a bus driver is a man who is lacking in ambition, motivation, and drive. Thank you, Beretta 9. Thank you, Beretta 9. We've got 125 people who are in the chat. 125 people who are in this chat. She thinks you better. She thinks she's better. Brother, I've dealt with women like this my entire life. Beretta says, nah, they know, Dr. Neal. They just don't give a F. Beretta, you know what? I would say that some of them know. A good number of them know, but there are others like her. Some of them know, but there are others like her. They live in the fantasy world. She lives in the fantasy world. Eboni K. Williams. And Eboni K. Williams had the nerve. Here's the thing, guys. Eboni K. Williams had the nerve to do another video after she talked to Iyanla Vanzant. She had the nerve to do another video where she doubled down on what she said about men, working class men in general, and working class black men in particular. She had the nerve to do another video where she doubled down on what she said. And this woman had the nerve to say that her comments and that her perspectives are tied to a liberationist perspective when it comes to black people. She had the nerve to say this. Here's the thing. Eboni K. Williams had the nerve to say that she is invested in black liberation, the liberation of black people. She had the nerve to say that. She had the nerve to say that she is invested in black liberation. And that's why she said what she said. Now you got to really think about that. Her idea of black liberation is some bootstrap idea. That's her idea. Her idea of black liberation is some bootstrap idea. Her idea of black liberation says that a meritocracy exists. What is a meritocracy? A meritocracy is the idea that you live in a world, you live in a society, you live in a community where there are no barriers. There are no barriers to opportunity whatsoever. And that one is able to rise, one is able to elevate based on hard work and hard work alone. Everybody can rise if they put in the work, hard work. Everybody. So what does it mean? Everybody can be a millionaire. Everybody can you need how to be a millionaire. Everybody can attain 100,000, 100K status. Everyone can attain 200K status in terms of income. Anyone who wants to can attain 300K status if they want to. Anybody. This is American exceptionalism. Anybody. She thinks that liberation is American exceptionalism. Here's the thing, you got white people in this society. You got white people. Let's go back to the white people who voted for Donald Trump. If America is such a truly exceptional, meritocratic condition, why is it that you have so many white people who are working class, so many white people who are poor, so many white people who can barely make ends meet, they can barely pay their bills? White people who have jobs, why is it that all those white people flock to Donald Trump? Why? When Donald Trump talked about jobs, why did they? When Donald Trump talked about the death of the manufacturing sector in the United States and that we need to get back to manufacturing, we need to create American goods. We should not be dependent on other nations. We should not be dependent on China. We should not be dependent on Russia. We should not be dependent on other nations in terms of our economy and what we produce. If we are such a meritocracy, why is it that so many white people voted for Donald Trump? we are talking about an utterly delusional individual, a delusional individual. And she's on this platform, this so-called black platform. And they want to talk about black liberation. There's no black liberation there. There's no black liberation. These professional individuals who are careerists, these individuals who are individualistic, these individuals are not liberation oriented. They're not liberation people whatsoever. She has no clue, no inkling, no understanding exactly what the concept of liberation is. This is a woman who says basically she don't want to be caught dead with you. If you drive a truck, I told you I got a neighbor who drives a truck. My neighbor, we talk all the time. My neighbor, black man, a few years younger than me, we talk all the time. This brother drives trucks. He makes a good income, a good living driving truck. We talk about this stuff. He dates professional women. My neighbor dates professional women. He dates, and we have these conversations. He's doing better than these women. But you got women like her, Eboni K. Williams. She don't want to be caught dead. She don't want to be seen with you. She don't want to be seen with you in public. She don't want her friends to see you, anything like that. She thinks she's better than you. And her tragedy is the fact, here's her tragedy. Here's the tragedy that she deals with. This is the problem that she has. This is a person who just can't get the masters, the real masters of the universe. She's 40 years old. 40 years old. 40 years old, and the real masters of the universe, the men who are actually in the top 10%, the men who are actually in the top 5%, the men who are actually in the 1%. And she's around these people all the time. The men who we call the masters of the universe, the men whom she thinks she qualifies for, those men, they don't want her. The masters of the universe don't want her. In other words, men who have twice as much as she has in terms of income, in terms of status, in terms of wealth, men who have twice as much as she has, men who have 3 times as much as she has, men who have 5 times, 4 times, 10 times as much as she has, men who has exponentially more than what she has, those men don't want her. They don't want her. But she wants us to believe that the vast majority of men don't qualify for her. That's what she wants us to believe. Detroit, what's going on? Truck driver here. That's what we got. She's clueless. She's clueless. This individual is clueless about how the world is thing. And I put this in my post, my recent post. This individual is clueless about how the world actually works. She is clueless about money. She is clueless about who actually, here's the thing. She is clueless about who actually has money. She's clueless. 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 I had to go back and dust off my old copy. Some of you guys are familiar with this book. There's a book that came out in the 1990s. There's a book, it was a New York Times bestseller. It still sells. There's a book that came out in the 1990s, a New York Times bestseller called The Millionaire Next Door. It's a book, it's called The Millionaire Next Door. Some of you guys are old enough to remember that book. That book is still a bestseller. It's still sold. Still sold, called The Millionaire Next Door. And that book, The Millionaire Next Door, tells you about people who have millions, people who are millionaires, and people who became millionaires outside of some of this celebrity and uber professional culture and ideology that we typically associate with millionaires and status. The Millionaire Next Door. And you will be surprised who is a millionaire. And there are people who are not in the professional classes. There are people who are not lawyers. There are people who are not engineers. There are people who are not doctors. They're not dentists. Not every millionaire is somebody who is in tech. There are regular, ordinary people, people who are unassuming, who are millionaires. They are unassuming. They are millionaires. You got truckers who are walking around here who are millionaires. You got people who never graduated from high school. You got people who never graduated from, they never graduated from college. You got people who never went to college. You got people walking around here who never went to college who are millionaires. You got people walking around here who don't have master's degrees who are millionaires. You got people walking around here with no PhDs and no law degrees who are millionaires. You would never know. You would never know. You would never know because they don't wear their money. They don't wear their money. They don't wear their wealth. These people don't wear their wealth on their backs. They don't wear their wealth on their backs. The cars that they drive, Thank you, Detroit 313. The cars that they drive tell you nothing about the kind of wealth that they have. Let me tell you something, brothers. Now, I'm not a millionaire. I'm not a millionaire. I do pretty well for myself. I'm not a millionaire. I wouldn't mind being one. I would love to be a millionaire. I ain't gonna lie. I love to have me some millions so I can have me a good, nice cushion for retirement. I need some millions to have a good cushy retirement. That's what I need. I need millions for a good cushy retirement. That's what I need. A good cushy retirement. That's what I need. But I do pretty well. But I don't drive a luxury car. I don't drive a luxury car. I don't want a luxury car. I drive a truck. I have a truck. I'm a black man. I got a PhD. I have a good profession, good income. I drive a truck that's 18 years old. I drive a truck that is 18 years old. My truck is 18 years old. It's all that flash. The last time I hooked up with one of my lawyer friends, I have one of my lawyer friends. She drives a BMW. She has a BMW SUV. One of my lawyer friends. She has a BMW SUV. A BMW SUV. A new model BMW. We met for drinks. We met for drinks. I paid for the drinks. I paid for the drinks. She got a BMW SUV. She rolled up in her new model BMW SUV. I drove up in my 18-year-old truck. That is paid for. My 18-year-old truck is paid for. I paid for it. It was paid off in 2012. I paid that joke off in 2012. And I'm going to ride my truck into the ground. Let me tell you something, guys. If I had $100 million, if I had $100 million, you wouldn't be able to tell I had $100 million just based upon your interactions with me in the street. If you ran into me in a grocery store, you wouldn't know. You would have absolutely no clue. If I had $100 million and you encountered me in the grocery store, you wouldn't associate me with millions. That's how I roll. That's how I roll. I don't believe in wearing luxury and wealth on your back. I don't believe in driving luxury and driving wealth. That's a waste of money. I don't care about appearances. I don't care about appearances. But Eboni K. Williams is the kind of woman who cares about appearances. She cares about appearances. That's how these people are. Mike Johnson says, I read The Millionaire Next Door. I'm surprised how many professional women have very little knowledge, intellect, or wisdom. Absolutely. 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 That's what I mean. They don't understand. These people don't understand the world. These people don't understand the world we live in. They don't understand money. They don't understand who has money, who doesn't have money. They don't understand how money is distributed and all of that kind of stuff. All they know are appearances. She lives in a world of celebrity, And she has a law degree. She's been a professional. But she thinks that you, black man, this individual thinks that you are a deplorable. She sees you as a deplorable. Thank you, Mike Johnson, for that. She sees you, Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton talked about the deplorables. The deplorables. Hillary Clinton. The deplorables. And when she called basically, she helped Trump get elected. She helped him get elected. The deplorables are the reason why Donald Trump became the president, the 45th president of the United States in 2016. It was the deplorables. The deplorables. And the deplorables are very, very devoted to him. As y'all know, the deplorables are very, very devoted to this man. The deplorables, they want to see this man in office again. Good to see all you guys, man. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. This woman thinks that she better than y'all, than us, 40 years old. And what's so funny, guys? And what's so funny, guys? What's so funny? She was on The View talking about. This woman is on The View talking about sperm banks. She talking about sperm banks. Sperm banks. 40 years old. You know, Kevin Samuels. I wish Kevin Samuels was still alive. If Kevin Samuels was still alive today, Kevin Samuels would have a field day with this sister. Kevin Samuels would have a field day with this woman if he was still alive. He would have a field day with her. This chick done froze her eggs. This woman done froze her eggs. She done froze her eggs. I got a Cash App. Thank you, Mr. Goodwin. Thank you, Mr. Goodwin, for that cash app. Thank you, my brother. Thank you for that cash app. Y'all, cash app, $ BMI 3000. Cash app, $ BMI 3000. The Mad Professor is in the house. Kevin Samuels would have had a field day with Eboni K. Williams. He would have had a 2-hour field day with Eboni K. Williams. Can you see him? You can see Kevin now. Can't you see Kevin now? Can't you see Kevin now? He would go to his console. Kevin would go to his console and he would play all of his No Man's Land music. Kevin would go to the console and he would play that dun 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. He would do all of that No Man's Land music. That's what Kevin would do. And then Kevin would go to the console and he'd press that button. I got a PhD. I got a PhD. Kevin would do it over again. I got a PhD. I got a PhD. I got a PhD. I got a PhD. And then Kevin Samuels would go to the console and he would do that fried eggs. He'd do the fried eggs. He'd do the fried eggs. He would do the fried egg sound effects. Y'all know Kevin would do that. Kevin would do the fried egg sound effect. Kevin would do the fried egg sound effect. You can hear them fried eggs. Can you hear? Can you guys hear those fried eggs? Y'all can hear those fried eggs? Kevin Samuels would have a field day with Eboni K. Williams. This woman had gone to a sperm bank. She had gone to a sperm bank. She was on the View talking about a sperm bank. You know what she said on the View? She said that her child, whatever her child's gender is going to be, whether male or female, she said that her child, that once the child turns 18 years old, she said this on national TV. Y'all can pull up the clips. That once this child that she would have, as a consequence of going to a sperm bank or in vitro fertilization, now they have in vitro fertilization, that once the child turns 18, that the child can learn the true identity of the father. This is how ridiculous this is. This is how ridiculous this is. So you go to a sperm bank or you go to a fertility clinic and you get impregnated. You bring a child into the world. You're a single mother now. She's a single mother now. You are a single mother. You're a single mother. And we already know after 60 years of research and observation and outcomes, we know what happens to children who are raised in single parent households. The bulk of them. The bulk of them. The bulk. Not the exceptions, but we know the bulk of them. So you're going to raise this child, and at the time that this child turns 18, you're going to finally tell the child who the child's father is. Now, how ridiculous is that? How ridiculous is that? How ridiculous is that? You bring this child into the world, and the child doesn't get to know who his or her father is until he or she reaches the age of 18. And then when you reach the age of 18, you will know the identity of your father. How ridiculous is that? How ridiculous is that? How ridiculous is that? So the child doesn't know. So the child is 5 years old. The child is 5 years old. Mommy, who's my daddy? The child is 5 years old. Mommy, who is my daddy, mommy? Mommy, who is my daddy? Oh, baby, well, I'm going to tell you who your daddy is when you're 18. I'm going to tell you who your daddy is when you're 18. The child is 8 years old. Mommy, who is my daddy? Mommy, who is my daddy? Oh, baby, you're going to find out who the daddy is. I'm going to tell you who your daddy is when you're 18. The child is 12 years old. Mommy, who's my daddy? Mommy, who's my daddy? Mommy, who's my daddy? This woman doesn't even think about the psychology of a child. She doesn't think about what the child is going to encounter when the child goes to school. So you put this child, and she's a high-end, high-status woman, so she's probably going to put the child in the private school. Miss Thang will probably put her child in a private school. It's less than likely that Miss Thang puts her child in a public school, but Miss Thang will put her child in a private school, a highly resourced private school that costs lots of money. And you best believe that the vast majority of the children at that private school are the products of nuclear homes, nuclear families. So you put a child in a high-end private school where all the children have mothers and fathers. All the children, or the majority of the children, have mothers and fathers. Yet your child does not have a father. Do you really want me to believe that that child is not going to have some issues? Do you really want me to believe that? That kid is going to be in that school and all of his or her peers are going to have mothers and fathers. And this child going to look around and say, you know what? I ain't got no doggone daddy. Where is my daddy? Where is my daddy? And the kids, because kids are cruel, kids will ask the question, where is your daddy? Kids are cruel. Kids are cruel. Where is your daddy? Where is your daddy? If he's a boy, where is your daddy? If he's a girl, where is your daddy? Who is your daddy? You got a mama, but you ain't got no daddy. Where's your daddy? Baby, we're gonna wait until you 18. When you're 18 years old, you're gonna know when you're 18 years old, you will learn the identity of your father when you're 18. This is hilarious. This is nonsense. This is the type of twisted thinking that you have. That's what I'm trying to tell you, brothers. You're not losing anything, guys. You're absolutely right. The Brat, they have a similar story. It's twisted. Brothers, this is why you ain't losing. This is why I say black men are winning. We winning. I said it in the post. You guys, this is not who you want to do. You don't want to deal with people like this. You want to run. You want to stay away from individuals like this. You run as far as possible from these people as you want to be. You stay away from people like this. You need to stay away from individuals. These people, they have a twisted, warped view when it comes down to how the world works and how the world is. Because she got a God complex. And these people, these professional women, they have God complexes. They think that they can actually engineer. They think because of their privileged status, they can just engineer everything. They can just make things happen. Poof, osmosis through technology and magical, and everything's gonna be all right. And this is why I keep saying, especially you young black men, you're absolutely right. They manifest. They just manifest everything. She's one of those people. You can just manifest it. Especially if she thinks she got enough money. if she thinks she got enough money, she can manifest it. If she thinks she got enough money. Mike Johnson, you're absolutely right. And there are lots of women, and that's why you have to let them go. You gotta let them go. You gotta let them go, guys. You can't be running behind them. Don't be running behind. You don't run behind. Don't run behind nobody like an Ebony. You don't want to run behind the Eboni K. Williams. You don't want to run behind her. This is the kind of woman that would ruin your life. Black man, this is the kind of woman, this snobbish, elitist, I'm better than you, I know more than you type of person. This person will destroy your life. And she will waste your time. She will waste your time. She will destroy your life. You see, this is the kind of female, let me tell y'all something, guys. Let me tell you something. This is the kind of female, this is the kind of person who, if you bring her into your life, this the kind of person who, if you bring her into her life, she gonna try to run your life. This the kind of person. If you bring this individual into your life, she gonna try to be your boss. She gonna try to be your boss. If you bring her into your life, she gonna try to be your coach. If you bring her into your life, she gonna try to be your pastor. If you bring her into your life, she gonna be trying to run you like a doggone slave. You're gonna have the same relationship that Steve Harvey has with his wife, Marjorie Harvey. If you bring this woman into your life, you're gonna have the same type of situation that Steve Harvey is in. I said this last night. Steve Harvey works for that woman, Marjorie Harvey. Steve Harvey is an employee. That woman is his boss. That woman, Marjorie, with the way he talked about her and the way they do things, that woman runs him. She tells him what to do, how to live, how to dress, all that kind of stuff. She runs him. She's his boss. She's his mama. She's his pastor. She's the Pope. She runs everything. Yeah, you don't want that. And I'll give you some personal insight of my life, guys. Let me tell you something, guys. One of the reasons I'm not married, Eboni K. Williams, one of the main reasons why I'm not married to this day. One of the main reasons. Women like her, she one of the main reasons why I've remained a bachelor all these years, why I never got married. Because I'm all too familiar with these professional types. I am all too familiar with these professional types. I have encountered these professional types. When you bring these people into your life, they want to be your boss. They want to be your coach. They want to tell you what to do. They believe that it's their job to motivate you. It's their job to hold you to deadlines. It's their job to crack the whip on you and all that kind of stuff. That's what they believe. And if you are already an ambitious man, if you are already a goal-getter, if you are already a man who sets goals for yourself, if you're already a man who starts what he finishes, if you're already that kind of man, this type of person is deeply, 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 deeply offensive. She is offensive. I don't need a woman to be my coach. I don't need a woman to be my boss. I'm finishing a book. I told y'all I'm completing my book right. I'm finishing my citations of my book right now because I've got a summer deadline. I got a summer deadline for this book that I'm finishing. It's already done. I don't need anybody to motivate me to finish my book. I want y'all to get this here, brothers. I don't need nobody to motivate me. I don't need no coach. I don't need no boss. I don't need nobody to motivate me to write. I don't need no extra motivation. I don't need no coach. I don't need anybody to crack the whip on me so that I can achieve my goals. So I can get to the next level. I don't need that. I don't need a woman by my side to propel me to the next level. See, that's Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey really believes, and this is the 21st century, this is 2023. Steve Harvey really believes that a man, in order for a man to get to higher and higher levels, you got to have a certain type of woman next to you. Not a certain time, that you got to have a woman next to you to propel you into so-called greatness. He really believes that a man cannot be great apart from being married to a woman. And this is just nonsense. That I need a woman. Ronald Neal, you really want to become great, you need to get married. You need to have you this woman so you can become real great. That's nonsense. That's hogwash. That's hooey. If you are a black man who is so codependent that you need a woman to be your coach, to be your boss, to be your motivation, to go to the next level, bro, you need to really examine yourself. Now, I don't say this to diminish. I don't say this to diminish the presence of a woman. We want women. We want company and all that kind of stuff. I want company. I want a good woman. I ain't gonna lie. I love a good woman right next to me. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love the presence of a woman, a good woman, the company, especially if she's not competing with me. Especially, here's the thing. I want me a woman who's not competing with me. I don't need a woman that's competing with me. I don't need a woman who thinks that she is my boss or she is my coach. I don't want it. Don't bring that boss chick. You keep that boss chick stuff to yourself. You keep that coach stuff to yourself. I don't want you bringing your competition in my world. Don't bring it in my world. I know what I'm doing. I've made it up to this point. I've made it up to this point without some coach, without some female coach. I made it up to this point in my life without a female coach. I don't need you to coach me. And that's the kind of woman that's the kind of person that Eboni K. Williams is. She wants you to be this woman. She will turn you. This individual will turn you into her slave, her worker bee. She will turn you into her worker bee with her old crazy standards. We love the company woman, but without the nonsense. Absolutely no nonsense. I motivate myself. I get up in the morning. I know what I got to do. I don't need you telling me what I need to do. I know what I got to do. You see, Steve Harvey is a codependent. Steve Harvey is a deeply codependent black man. He's codependent. Codependent. That's why he's been married so many times. He's deeply codependent. Cold-blooded, cold-blooded, cold-hearted is right. All I need you to do is be feminine. To be feminine, to be supportive, be feminine and be supportive, be nice, be kind, be smart, but I don't need you to be my boss. I don't need you to be my boss. I don't need you to be my boss. You ain't about to be my boss. You ain't about to run me. Period. You ain't running me. You ain't telling me what to do. But that's what you get if you deal with this Ebony type. If you deal with a woman like Eboni K. Williams, Miss Thang, if you deal with Miss Thang, if you deal with Miss Thang, she gonna want to tell you what to do. That's the point. She gonna want to tell you what to do, even if you are a master's. And that's why those guys don't mess with her. Let me tell you this, guys, and I know I've been here for a long time. I'm gonna tell you, those guys, the masters of the universe, the 5% guys, those 5% guys, those 10% guys, those 20% guys, those guys don't deal with women like hers because those guys don't need somebody telling them what to do. And they don't want no competition. Those guys don't want no competition. Those guys don't want that boss chick energy. They don't want it. They don't want that boss chick energy. They don't want that competition. They don't want it. They don't want all that masculine energy that she comes with. They don't want to be with no man. She's a man. She operates like a man. No one wants that masculine energy in their life. That's why those guys, those 5% guys, those 10% guys, they don't deal with her because she's too much like a man. Those guys, those men are already highly motivated. They're already, you got men who are already motivated. You got men who already have a work ethic. They have a work ethic. They're already motivated. You have men who are already goal-oriented. They don't need no manager. They don't need no manager. They don't need no micromanager. She's a micromanager. They don't need no micromanager. This is why I ain't married. This is why I ain't married, guys. This is why I'm not married right now in America. This is why I'm not married to a Western woman. This is why I'm not married to an American woman, because I don't need no micromanager in my life. I don't need a micromanager. And this is what you get with Miss Thang. Miss Thang. That's why you need to lead these women. You need to just, she gonna die alone, guys. To just don't argue with them. Don't go back and forth. Here's what I want to say with you guys. Women like this, you don't argue with them. You don't go back and forth with them. You don't engage them, man. You don't even try to refute their perspective because they lost. This chick is lost. This chick has a lost worldview. She has a completely lost orientation. She's too far gone. She ain't never gonna change. A chick like that, 40 years old, she's never gonna change. She's never gonna change the way she thinks about the world. Never. She's a waster. She's an utter waste of time. A waste of time. I see him. She coming one way, I'm going the other way. I'm gone. I'm gone. No talk. We have no conversation whatsoever. There's nothing for us to talk about because we have completely different orientations. Completely different orientations. Give me 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. I'm gonna take a brief little interlude, and we're gonna come back, and I'm gonna drop the link for any of you guys who want to come back. I'm gonna drop the link. I'm gonna drop the link for any of you guys who want to.
Who just want a better future and a good job. These were the people Hillary Clinton so viciously demonized.
Trump, who has refused to apologize for his own controversial statements about women, Muslims, and minorities, is now demanding a true apology from Clinton.
If Hillary Clinton will not retract her comments in full, I don't see how she can credibly campaign any further.
The Republican nominee also adding to the drama surrounding the debates, now just 2 weeks away.
I'm going to be treated very, very unfairly by the moderators. I think maybe we should have no moderator. Let Hillary and I sit there and just debate, because I think the system is being rigged, so it's going to be a very unfair debate.
And Tom Yamas with us live tonight from a Trump rally.
People like you, and you, deplorable.
Clinton later said she was, quote, grossly generalistic, adding, I regret saying half. That was wrong.
She divides people into baskets as though they were objects, not human beings, carpenters and welders, the young and the old, and millions of working class families who just want a better future and a good job.
Islamophobic, you name it.
People like you, and you, deplorable.
Clinton later said she was, quote, grossly generalistic, adding, I regret saying half. That was wrong.
She divides people into baskets as though they were objects, not human beings, carpenters and welders, the young and the old, and millions of working class families who just want a better future and a good job. These were the people Hillary Clinton so viciously demonized.
Trump, who has refused to...
She divides people into baskets as though they were objects, not human beings, carpenters and welders, the young and the old, and millions of working class families who just want a better future and a good job. These were the people Hillary.
What's going on, brothers? What's going on? What's going on? We back up in here again. Listen, guys. Y'all got that. She called them deplorables. That was Hillary Clinton. And what Hillary Clinton said is no different from what Eboni K. Williams said about black men. It's no different. She sees working class black men as deplorable. And you guys are warranted in not dealing with these individuals who have this type of perspective. All right, guys, I'm going to drop the doggone link, man. If you guys want to chime in, this is the Mad Professor. This is Thursday afternoon live, man. If you guys want to add to the conversation, you're more than happy. You're more than welcome to come in and be a part of the conversation, guys. I am the Mad Professor. This is Thursday afternoon. I'm going to say Thursday night. Thursday afternoon live. What's going on? The rabbit hole is deep, guys. The rabbit hole is deep. And I have to tell you, my brothers, thank you, Muhaji. Thank you for that cash app, my brother. Thank you for that cash app, Muhaji. Thank you for that cash app, my brother. We appreciate you, my guy. We appreciate you. Absolutely. And Cole Harder, you better believe that Eboni K. Williams probably think that we're super predators also. She probably thinks that we are super predators also. The link is in the chat if anybody wants to come up and you want to comment on Miss Thang, I got to give a shout out to Old Man, because Old Man was the one, Obsidian Mumia Ali, he was the one who really gave us a language. He gave us a language for people like Eboni K. Williams, Miss Thang, and Old Man Obsidian. He would call her Miss Thang, and he had this thing. Y'all got to go back into Obsidian's files and she went after him. This woman went after Obsidian. Sophia A. Nelson, she went after him for real. She didn't like the fact that he was calling her Miss Thang, and he was calling her a spinster. You know, a spinster is a woman who's never been married, and these are never married women who just all they do is they turn plates, and they if they deal with men, they go from man to man to man to man. Nobody ever marries them. They never get married or what have you. So that's what Old Man did. But if you guys, we have dropped the link and you guys want to comment, cold-hearted, cold-blooded, revelated, what's going on, my brother? What's happening, man? Talk to us today. We're talking about Eboni K. Williams and the Deplorables, man. What's up?
Hey, what's going on, Doc? Yeah, long-time viewer, first time in the studio, so slightly nervous. I'm not going to keep you guys long, but basically,
cool,
all I want to say is, I think I said this before, these women like Eboni K. Williams and her ilk, we're seeing these chicks go insane right before our very eyes. And you know what? It does my cold-hearted, my cold, dead heart good.
I hear you.
It's a wonderful sight to see.
I hear you.
All I have to say also is that black men, gentlemen, continue to pursue your own interests.
That's right.
Pursue your happiness on your own terms.
Absolutely.
And run away from these feminists.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Absolutely, brother. No, man, we appreciate your comment and everything. Yeah. You pursue your interests, brothers. Good, man. We appreciate you, man. All right. We've got. Thank you for that, my brother. The link is in the chat. Anybody have any? You want to chime in, my brothers? You guys want to chime in? You're more than welcome to chime in and everything. And you can do that. You know what I'm saying? What you think about this situation, Miss Thang, Eboni K. Williams from the Griot, And Real Housewives. You know, it's funny, guys. I really didn't know too much about this woman. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't watch Real Housewives of Atlanta. You know, I've learned that she's a part of that whole Real Housewives of Atlanta scene, and I've seen those shows in the past. Years ago, I watched. Well, no, Real Housewives of New York. That's where she's from. I've watched some of the Atlanta shows back in the days, but not into not into that kind of reality TV stuff. You know what I mean? I didn't know. I didn't know that she was a big deal. Well, she's not a big deal. She's not a super mega star. You know what I'm saying? She did an interview with Charlamagne the God not too long ago, where she talked about being married because she's a divorced woman, and she talked about how her marriage failed and why her marriage failed and all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And what she did and how she contributed to the failure of her marriage. And she knows the limitations of her own perspective and what have you. To her own admission, she was just too much of a career person. Too much of a careerist, and that would always destroy a relationship. So, well, listen, guys, the link is there, and it looks like we're gonna wrap things up. We're right at the 2-hour mark, guys. Yeah, I wanted to come out here, and I thank you guys. I thank you guys for all of the support, the Cash Apps, Cash App $BMI3000. We thank you guys for the super chats and everything, and for the eyeballs, man. Y'all share, y'all like, and y'all subscribe. This is what we do here, man, in the Black Manosphere. This is what we do here in this space, is we talk about things that are relevant to Black men. And, this situation right here, it says a whole lot. It says a whole lot, my guys, about where we are, not just with the perspectives of women, but in the United States. This is bigger. So when I played this other stuff, with the 2016 situation between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, it was intended to put a larger context to all this stuff. There's a greater context to this stuff right here. Is that there are people, men are pushing back. Here's the thing: men are pushing back right now, and this is a beautiful thing. The so-called deplorables of the United States are pushing back. They're pushing back. The working people, the working class, the people who are responsible for the infrastructure of the United States, the people who are responsible for the infrastructure of the United States, they are truly pushing back. And the American political economy, the Republicans and the Democrats, but I'm going to put more pressure on the Democrats. They have to respond to this. They got to respond to this. We've got somebody here. We got Chaos Rain.
Can you hear me?
How's it going? I can hear you. I can hear you. How are you, my friend?
How you doing, Dr. Renee? I'm asking a question because you're a profession and a doctor in your field for, I would say, over 20, maybe more years.
Yes, sir.
And have you noticed Miss Eboni? And the difference is she's an 80s baby and she's about to hit 40 and you about to be approaching 50 at the same time, September, because she was born in September.
Yeah.
Ironically. And we always look at the outcomes that, if they say they do comparison, that this lady got a lawyer. I don't know if she got JD because I'm not sure what her background is. I think she writes. I don't think she does like trials and stuff because no one doesn't really know really deep of what she really does.
You're right.
But let's say you go to North Carolina because that's the state you're in.
Yep.
Last time I checked, if you, like most modern Black women, are going to those degrees, you should be able to snatch up your man right there in college. Yeah. Because you're put in position. Yeah. I had a conversation with one particular lady, particularly what advice she got from one particular woman that she went to school to in college.
Mhm.
And I'm thinking, you ladies, if it's money or whatever is your intentions,
Mhm.
right? Then that would be the best start. You get me?
Mhm.
Before anything else. Why now you wait till you get out of college,
Mhm.
go on the carousel,
Mhm.
you know, you hear him talk about, I gotta get them all. That is not a good look for any man of any status to hear you on live air talking about say you've been messing around. Even to point out, say, you're not able to secure anybody to now you're gonna be freezing eggs.
Mhm.
Is this really the future for women in America today, Dr. O'Neill? Like this is gonna be a win playbook?
And that's why I say that we have to they have to crash and burn. I know that here's the thing, Chaos.
Mm-hmm.
We have a built-in mechanism within us because we're men that tells us to save women and to save them from their mistakes and their bad choices and decisions and all that kind of stuff. That's something that's kind of it's really a biological thing. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? To
Yeah.
protect and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And we're in a moment right now where we have to fight against that biological impulse. And the reason why we're fighting against that biological impulse is because they're not living out their imperatives biologically as women or what have you. Because the whole thing about the lifestyle that they're living, much of it goes against, not all of it, but much of it goes against like biological prerogatives. So let me give you an example, man. So when you have a woman that's 40 years old, who's never had children, who now has this deep obsession with children. See, here's the thing,
Mm-hmm.
and she goes so far to go to the sperm banks, or she goes to in vitro fertilization, artificial means.
Yeah.
That tells you something about the imperative that women have in general to be maternal, okay, and to have babies. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So here's the thing: was that if women did not have, here's the thing: if women did not have a maternal instinct, if they did not have a imperative to procreate, you would not see these women who are in their 40s, in their late 30s, trying to undertake, artificial means of being impregnated and all this kind of stuff. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
There's something going on with them. So there's a biological thing that in feminists, and this is what thing. So the feminists have done them a disservice by teaching them to repress all that kind of stuff. So what happens, going back to what you were saying, man, this woman has been in the company of all sorts of men.
Yes.
Okay, and she is not an unattractive individual.
No, and she's short too.
And she's short. I mean, ever since she went to college here in North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Okay, so she went to school here in the state that I'm in.
It is a Tar Heel State. She went to.
Yeah. She went.
Look at that! A very esteemed university.
Yeah, she went to Chapel Hill. So the thing is that she's been around men. She's been in the company of men. Even and I have to look at exactly where she earned her college degree. Not her college degree, but her JD from, or whatever. But even in that world, you're also exposed to all sorts of men. She's in New York City, so she's been talking all this stuff in New York City. New York City is, that's the financial center of the United States of America. Okay, so you're around. If you're in New York City, if you're in California, particularly if you're in Hollywood or you're in Los Angeles or San Francisco, if you're in Miami, if you're in Chicago, if you're in these centers, these major financial upper middle class, upper class enclaves, okay, that cater to these populations, there's no excuse for why you are unable to meet men who are either at your level or above you. You know what I'm saying? And so she's been in the circles. So she's never had a dearth rather of men. You know what I mean? And she just, she played around. She basically mismanaged her life. She said she got married. She was married one time. She got a divorce. She done been around, but she's never. This is not a woman who has dealt with scarcity. This is just not a woman.
Was she married more than once, Dr. Rondell? I only heard that she was supposed to be getting married to a Caucasian man.
So from what we know, from what her admission that she was married once and she got divorced. And I don't know about other, there's stuff on the internet circulating.
This is what I got. There's an article. There was an article written about this, but I'll cover this on my channel on regards her didn't really seal a deal with the non-black mate, but it's really reflective relationships.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and what you really qualify. And let's be honest. And I remember Uncle D did a stream about this thing about the no-fault divorce. I'm not sure if it applies to Texas, but the point is this: when a system is in danger, besides other things, and the end game is trying to recopulate naturally, you're going to see some of these laws, even including that, going to have to be rolled back if needed, because they can't afford, let's say, 50 or more % of the male population tapping out.
Oh yeah, that's
because let's be honest, Ronnie, you only can import so many people here to replace, but those people you're going to brain drain other nations.
That's it.
Because you're in the ability to have people just couple pair and move on.
And that's why the country has to deal with this. And she trivializes it. She thinks when she, talks about these men, and that's why I said that she has a very, very juvenile understanding of how things work and how things are.
I won't blame her because raised by a single mother. What do you expect? When you don't really know how things work.
And it's like on my channel, and we talked about this. Professor Scott Galloway at New York University. He's been making rounds for over a year in terms of what he regards as a demand crisis. And Richard Reeves, who has a book that's out now, Richard Reeves of Boys and Men, dealing with the problems, economic issues with men in terms of jobs, education, family, et cetera, et cetera. And then we can even bring in our sage, Dr. Tommy J. Curry, the man not and everything like that, who Tommy J. Curry has a blurb on Richard Reeves' book on Boys to Men, okay? The difference between Richard Reeves and Tommy Curry is that Richard Reeves is white, Tommy Curry is black, okay? But the point is that there is a thing that America has to address this man condition. I'm not going to call it, I don't call it a crisis, I just call it's a condition that is real. You have to deal with that. And people like Eboni K. Williams, she trivializes it. She thinks that she says these men are not up to snuff and they're not rising to the occasion. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that they have no incentive. I would give her them. I would even merit parts of her perspective, because she said they're not rising to the occasion. Well, I said, well, these men have no incentive to rise to the occasion. Because they're destroyed. Men are destroyed in family courts. Men are destroyed.
Yep.
Men are destroyed. Child support and all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? We have disparaged, as she does, we have disparaged the regular working man. We're now dealing with the effects of decades of outsourcing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In terms of corporations and all that kind of stuff. And, we are relying on labor from other parts of the world.
Yeah.
And so what do you think is going to happen? What you think is going to happen? You have no reward. There's no reward. There's no rewards tied to getting married. There's no rewards tied to the old labor that of working as we once did once in the past. There don't no rewards, and men are driven by rewards. There are incentives and rewards, and they removed the old incentive structure. And once you remove the old incentive structure, you're going to get what you're seeing right now. So guys have no incentive to get married. They have no incentive to, work in a plant, 40 to 60 hours a week, 7 days a week, overtime. You know what I mean? There are no rewards to that. Ultimately, you know what I mean? Especially if it's tied to taking care of a family, and buying houses and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And so she only sees a part of it. But the the reality is, man, is that women like her have a very, very skewed understanding of what's going on in the world, very elitist in everything, and most of them end up by themselves. She's 40 years old. She's done. I'm gonna put it out here, guys. All you guys listening, this woman is done. I don't care how pretty she is.
Wait, you said, Ron, she's not even worth the fun at night, you know what I'm saying? Just to, keep it pushing, you know what I'm saying?
She's a fun girl at best right now. Fun girl.
She is side booty at best, actually.
Side chick. Because the guys, and I said this earlier, I said those masters of the universe, those guys who are above her, they got so many options. And
they got so many options. Listen, they can get somebody that's like, even the guy she was dealing, that she said she was gonna seal a deal because it said she can't deal with his kids. I said, no, listen, baby, you coming in this with no children, and you deal with a man that is, like you said, is the master of the universe.
Yeah.
You think he's gonna expect the pop baby you this is how you treat his own kids?
Yeah.
You must see out your mind. You should, matter of fact, I'm gonna say this. That was the last ride you're gonna get. Any man that deals with you after hearing all this, and you talking about this white supremacist nonsense. See, and this is what see one thing, Dr. Ronil.
Yeah.
Women not thinking long term on what they say on public air. You're telling these other non-blacks this, and they find a history of you, because listen, it's forever, and people are really revealing what you really was. They're gonna say, wait, hold on, how you gonna talk about your press and you almost married one of us? Which is it? So the best bet, you know how the brat in them, because the brat, I didn't know the brat was knocked up, but that's another story. They said, let's go to the donor. Let's go to the donor. That's what you're asking for. Because if you think that there should be some perfection, and let's be honest, when I hear women talking about this, all these expectations, it seems you're seeking Jesus Christ, God. That's it. You put a stand you can meet.
That's it.
So most men gonna know and hear about this. Say, okay, you get her, you get her. Not ain't no loss. Go your business.
That's it. I mean, so think about this. Going back to the man she was with, I would have done the same thing. You want me to choose? You're talking about COVID, right? COVID-19. People are dying. People are dying, right? Left and right. I'm a man. I got kids. I don't care if they're young or adult or whatever. And you in my life, you might, and I may have known you for only maybe a year or 2 years, right? We don't know how long her relationship was with this guy, right? This white man.
We'll give it like a couple years, nothing more.
Let's give him a couple years, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about COVID-19. People are dropping dead like flies. Okay.
Yeah.
So you expect me to choose you over my kids? My kids, I might die. I might die. Here's the thing. COVID might get me and I might die. Or my kids might die. So what's the best case scenario? Me being with my kids during COVID-19 and me dying in the presence of my kids, or my kids dying in my presence, over against me being with you, who I've only been with maybe 2 years or whatever, and you dying with me dying with you. What's the best? I say I'm choosing my kids. I'm choosing my kids, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, you know, and she's like, and I saw the interview. She was like, "But I need him. I need him to choose me. You know, I need all this, you know, attention. I need you to select me over your kids." And I'm like, in what world does it happen, homie?
Bro.
In what world? It doesn't. You know, some
I
men.
never heard such thing in my life, bro.
Yeah.
Especially to a black woman. So wait, hold on. You are requiring this white man to choose you over his own kids. That he went and married and it didn't work out, wherever kissing, and choose you to start life with you, which you did opted out not to have kids when you were married.
You opted out.
That's selfish.
That is
bro. She not worthy of any marriage. She's not worried. Man, let me tell you something. The reason why no one's really gone into why her real background, and this is why it's always telling when you hear women or any person talk about things about this community or in general, I tell people peek the background. See if they're really that talk, and it's going to really truly your eyes gonna be open and say, wait, I can see why your outcomes are the way they are. Like literally. You like, matter of fact, this is the best thing for you is to keep working until you retire.
That's it. That's it.
Just like Ken said, most women are gonna be retired, and they say, well, you're gonna be working until it's the end.
To the end. That's it. And that's why I said that she's done. She is done, because here's the thing. Her only hope. Here's her only hope. At the age of 40.
Okay, what's her hope, Dr. Lay out the science. See if there's even hope for this. If be honest.
A man who was in his 70s. Maybe
God
a man. Listen. A man who is in his 70s. I want you guys to listen to this, man. I'm trying to give y'all some perspective on this.
Yeah.
40
listen,
years
guys.
old.
I got to listen to this one. Yeah. 7 years
Her
old.
only hope is a man in his 70s. A man who is in his 70s, he might be divorced or whatever, or he may never been married. He's a comfortable man or whatever. Her only hope right now is a man who is extraordinarily older than her. Okay? Now, I'm a dude in chaos. You do the math. You're absolutely right, man. She's 10 years younger than me. I'm not wasting it. I'm 50 years old. I'm not wasting a bunch of time on her. Okay? I'm not wasting a bunch of time on her, man, because I'm going younger.
Okay. I'm
going younger. You see what I'm saying? If I deal with her, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Listen, guys.
Okay.
If I deal with her, we sleeping together. I'm sleeping with her. I'm knocking her off. I'm throwing them legs up in there. That's about it.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? But marriage or anything real long-term stuff, we ain't doing nothing long-term. I'm gonna tell you straight up. If I'm dealing with her, it's short-term. We ain't doing nothing long-term. I'm going under. I'm going younger. You understand what I'm saying? A man who's 70, 72, 73, 74, 75, he's probably the best bet she got in terms of what she really looking for. You see what I'm saying? A man in his 70s, and I would say maybe in his late 60s or whatever, maybe a Steve Harvey type guy. You know what I'm saying? So, let's just pretend Steve Harvey and Marjorie get a divorce or whatever, and, Steve Harvey is 67 years old right now, right? So, let's say 3 years later, he's 70 years old. She can get with a Steve Harvey type. You know what I'm saying? Now, she can get with that kind of guy. Not now. she might have some issues because she got to deal with his daughters because his daughters are her age. but
Correct.
that's the best she gonna do because
Mhm.
guys in their 50s. Here's the thing: the guys who she considered the masters of the universe. The guys in their 50s and up, between 50 and 65, those guys can do much better than her. Okay, and they will go younger and what have you. And so she has to. She gotta. If she's still stuck on this master of the universe thing, she got to be able to deal with men who are 65 and up. You know what I'm saying? Because no man in this, no man, no well resourced individual man is going to attach himself to someone like her permanently or for a long term level. He's not going to do it.
Permanent.
He's
Yes.
not going to
Correct.
do it. He ain't
Correct.
going. She's a bad investment. She did that. That's a bad proposition right there. He ain't going to do it. You know what I'm saying? So other than that, other than some 70-year-old dude, and she got to be
And
open
if
to a
he's going to do
70-year-old
it,
dude.
not in America.
Yeah. And she got to be open to it. And if she not, here's the thing. So if she's not open to a man that's 65 plus, she's really done. She just really done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If she's not open to that, you know, because again, guys in their 50s, guys in their late 40s, guys in their late 50s.
But you know, one thing that came to my mind, and I had to lay this out, and you could probably push back, Dr. Rania. Wouldn't it be this opportunity for a lot of these women that are now beyond wall hitting stage now that they're going to start prioritizing looking at younger men like herself?
Yeah.
Because you see, like some celebrities, because she's part of the celebrity club, like that Spanish chick, Bernice Burgos, messing around with one 26-year-old.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that these young dudes, I know they're getting the picture, but it's not reaching fast enough. And me as man, I would never tell no dude if you're a certain age and she's like a decade or more older, I would say that is not something you should be looking into. Now she's giving you some sex, okay, but you should not be putting more investment into that.
Yeah, and I no, I agree with you 100%. And as someone, as a guy who's been there, I've been there. I've dealt with lots of older women. You know, in my 20s, in my 30s, early 40s, but especially in my 20s and 30s, I dealt with lots of older women, man.
Yeah.
And it works for a young man. I'm telling you, it works for a young man because here's the thing. I mean, because it's so interesting. So right now, because you got all this talk on social media, so they're saying, here's what's being said: is that younger men are not getting dates in relationships, but younger women are. Right? That's what they're saying. They're saying that. So you got men in their 20s and women in their 20s. And the men in their 20s are not in relationships, or they're not getting connections with women. But the women who are their counterparts, they are getting relationships or connections with men. And the question is, well, who are the younger women connecting with? The younger women are connecting with older men. They're getting with it. So if you got a 24-year-old man who is having a hard time connecting with women in his cohort, and then you juxtapose him with a 24-year-old woman who has no problem with men, and she's not choosing men in her age group, that means she's dealing with men who are significantly older. So she's dealing with guys who are 27, guys who are 30 years old, 35 years old, even 40 years old. You see what I'm saying? And so here's the thing, and this is not necessarily a new thing. So young guys, and I want to say this to you young guys, you guys who have biological impulses, I want to say this to you guys, you young guys now, especially you guys in your 20s and your 30s, and you don't want to be walking around here sexless, okay? Hook up with these older chicks. Y'all hook up with them. Hook up with the older women, man. And, you know, wear your condom now. You know, make sure you wear your condom with the older
Cap
chicks.
2 condoms on that. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to risk it.
You young guys, here's the thing, you guys, you make sure that you wear your condoms with these older women. Okay? Number one, you don't want to get them pregnant because they will railroad you just like any young woman if you get her pregnant. Okay?
Facts.
And number two, you don't want to be getting no STDs, STIs. You understand what I'm saying? And so because these older chicks, you got to watch them too because they be screwing around, and you got to watch them in terms of STDs. Okay? And so you need to be careful about that, guys. That's the you know the number one thing I want to say is protect yourself, wear your condoms and everything like that. Be sure to have a conversation. You young guys, if you're dealing with women who are 5 years older than you, if you're dealing with a woman that's 10 years older than you, yeah, y'all need to have this conversation about how y'all interact with each other sexually. You know, birth control and all that kind of stuff and diseases and all. Y'all need to have that conversation. But I would say, if you don't want to be a sexist man, if you don't want to be a sexist man in your 20s, you don't want to be a sexist man in your 30s, the older woman is a good option. And you need to, you know, deal with the older women. Just don't get them pregnant and wear your condoms and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? And you deal with that until you get to a point where you get tired of it. Because what's going to happen, guys, all you young guys, I'm speaking from experience, you're going to get tired of it. You're going to get tired of dealing with chicks older than you. And you're just going to get tired of it, man. You know, and you don't want to move on. You don't want, you know, younger women. That's just the way it is. But that's how you handle it, man. That's kind of how you know, you deal with the situation, man. And I would say that's why we have a longer, you know, when people talk about sexual marketplace value and all that kind of stuff. It's very real. It's not just a theory. It's very real. You know, if you continue to remain disciplined and steadfast and all of that, you know, as people have said, it gets greater later. I'll put it like that. It gets greater later, man. But yeah, man, a woman like her, Eboni Williams. Oh, here's the thing. Yeah, dude, I mean, younger guys would deal with women like her if she's open. And I'm pretty sure she's not going to say it on TV. She ain't going to say it on TV. A woman like that, if she sees a guy who's attractive enough, who's younger, who is sexually appealing to her, and who's appealing to her, you know, maybe he might have some personality traits that are appealing to her, she gonna sleep with him. But she not trying to do anything long term, and he should not be trying to do anything long term with her. You know, you younger guys don't want to be with no boss chick that's significantly older than you. You know, you can get in there and have fun for, you know, time being, short period of time, and then you check out. That's what you do. So I hope I addressed the question that you asked.
Yeah, that's good. That's good enough. Well, that's good enough. I think I'm jump down here and have you up long enough because you almost pushed 2 hours and 30 minutes. But this was good. We got to do this again soon, man. I mean, I had time today to come up. You normally, when you have some good streams, I will catch replay and we'll play them. You know, but it's
yeah, good,
know,
man.
I'm a content creator myself, so
I know
I
you
don't have
are.
so much time. Because right now I'm almost at the 1,000. So right now I'm trying to get through this hump. After that, I'll probably delegate more of the time right now because I've been doing this on this channel for a good while. It's a long time. I tell people it's not easy work doing this. You know,
No, it's not.
some
No,
people
no,
get there and some people get there slow. I tell people you had to keep grinding. This so-called racist website, they're not gonna make it easy for any, especially black men. They know that's doing this.
Yeah. And the thing about it is that there is not, in terms of strategy, there's not one size that fits all, and you don't want to find yourself in a situation where you're trying to replicate what other people are doing all the time, you know, and you have to do what works for you. You know, you have to do what works for you. And like my style is raw. My style is organic. I don't care about having 100,000 subscribers. Okay, you know what I'm saying? I don't care. I want as many subscribers as I can get. You know what I mean? But that's not like, I'm not trying to.
Yeah.
I don't care about that. I just don't care about that. My stuff is about impact, being raw, doing what I'm doing right now. Just being raw and live and organic and all, like that's my strategy. It's like, you know, Doctor, and I've said this on my platform. Dr. J has his strategy, his method, and I love him. And I don't try to do what he does. I don't try to replicate what he does. I don't try to replicate what Green Gorilla does. They're good in their lanes and what they do. I don't try to replicate them or follow behind them or anything like that. I don't try to do what Dr. Thunder does or anybody else does. I know what works for me at this particular time. You know what I'm saying? And so that, I think that that's the best way to deal with, particularly YouTube, and starting with YouTube, but then you move on to other forms of social media, man. So you got to do what's best for you. That's the point. But man, thank you, man. I appreciate you for coming up. It's been a long time, man. We've been going back and forth for a minute, but I'm glad that you were able to come through, bro.
Yeah. And like I said, I got your email. If I want to hit you up with something, you know, I would hopefully when you have time, sir. Thank you.
Cool, man. Take care, man. Good to see you. Thank you, my brothers. I love this, man. I love this form. I love it, man. I'm over 2 hours. I enjoy what I'm doing, man. And I enjoy talking to you guys and connecting with you, man. And like I said, I had to come back out. I had to come out here, guys, and talk about this woman, Miss Thang, and all the stuff associated with Miss Thang. Okay. Kevin Samuels, the anniversary of Kevin Samuels' death is tomorrow. It's tomorrow. I said this last night. Revolt TV contacted me, and Revolt TV, I'm going to see whether they publish it or not. Revolt TV asked me to be a part of a segment that they were doing on Kevin Samuels, and I contributed to it. There was another guy that they also invited, and he and I were going back and forth about Kevin Samuels. He and I had very different perspectives on Kevin Samuels. And that's why they brought us together. But it might be on their website tomorrow or sometime next week or whatever. We'll see what happens. But Kevin Samuels, the anniversary of his death is tomorrow. And so we appreciate the memory of Kevin Samuels. I know, he would have a lot to say. I know that he would have a lot to say about Eboni K. Williams. Thank you, Ray Mose. Thank you, Ray Nose. We appreciate you, my brother. Thank you, mate, Ray Nose. We thank you. We appreciate you, guy, and your support. So that's it, guys. I'm going to sign off, man. This was a great Thursday, man. The Black Manosphere is winning. I said this to you 2 weeks ago, and I'm going to continue to say this to you again. The Black Manosphere is winning. We are winning. We are not going anywhere. I am the Mad Professor. I'm signing off. I'll see you guys real soon. Take care. Peace out.